The Human Mechanism is an adult-oriented YouTube account. Individuals under the age of 13 should not be watching without the consent of an adult. Hello G.I. Joe fans, this is The Human Mechanism. Cobra Convergence VI is upon us, and this year's theme is Weird Characters / Crazy Plans. Interesting. What can I contribute to this theme? Well, I'm known as more of a vehicle person, and to carry out a crazy plan, one would probably need a crazy vehicle. What could that be? Well, what is a Cobra vehicle that a lot of people wanted, that appeared in the comics, but was never made into a toy? I'm sure there's a lot of them, but I find there's one that consistently comes up. The Cobra Transport Helicopter. This is a vehicle that has made numerous appearances throughout G.I. Joe comic books. The most common iteration of the Cobra Transport Helicopter is this, which is very clearly based on the CH-54 Tarhe, a skeletal helicopter design meant for transport. Crazy indeed. Not too many helicopters have this unique skeletal appearance. However, the Cobra Transport Helicopter also took on other appearances throughout the comics, such as in issue number 17, where it is based on the Mi-10, a Soviet helicopter that is much larger than the CH-54, but has a similar role. For a G.I. Joe / Cobra vehicle that was never made into a toy, this is very popular, which can be attested to by it being the subject of numerous custom projects. People really want this helicopter to be a reality. There's even a Facebook page with 600 followers dedicated to petitioning HasLab to design a, quote, comic book accurate Cobra Transport Copter. This is an anecdote, but fans are so desperate for this that I recall one G.I. Joe fan saying that he didn't care if Hasbro just took a Tomahawk and painted it blue. In the meantime, until HasLab gets around to it, you might as well make your own. Today, fans are doing the best work, as companies are not even hiding their willingness to cut corners. Yes, the G.I. Joe 6-inch figures are obviously bigger and shinier, but that kind of gives Hasbro a convenient excuse for not making vehicles, doesn't it? Hasbro claimed that making 1/18 scale vehicles was no longer profitable, while providing absolutely no evidence that that was the case. They just kind of stopped making them for a while, and then used that as evidence that nobody wanted them. Not too many people are going to want a 6-inch compatible vamp taking up much needed shelf space, are they? Hello, this is the Human Mechanism speaking to you with the power of post-production. I have a confession to make. This script is 2 years old. It was originally for Cobra Convergence V back in 2020, which I was scheduled to participate in, but couldn't because I was busy. This was around the time where the classified line was just ramping up, and had the G.I. Joe community somewhat split. You either hated it, or loved it. Well, as it turns out, late last month, HasLab announced a classified HISS tank. Not only did it get fully funded, but it happened in the first hours of the campaign. So even though I'm not a fan of the G.I. Joe classified line or HasLab, it turns out that classified fans are extremely passionate, and I'm happy for them. They completely shut me up. However, fans are quickly filling the gaps left by toy companies. Many independent ventures are sprouting up, and with today's technology, toys are literally being printed from homes and sold over the internet. I, however, am old-fashioned. I still like to take existing things and modify them to fit my needs. So that brings us back to the Cobra Transport Helicopter. Many fans have made their own version of this beloved vehicle that never was. A common subject for customizing is the Chatmay Soldier Force / Dino Valley Skylifter helicopter. It's a no-brainer, right? Both helicopters are based on the CH-54 Tarhe, so customizing this into the Cobra Transport Helicopter is just obvious. Hell, in G.I. Joe A Real American Hero number 268, the artist just outright uses the Chatmay Skylifter as a reference for the Cobra Transport Chopper. I mean, just look at it. Everything from the proportions to small details are taken straight from the toy and translated to the comic. So an influential vehicle from a G.I. Joe comic inspired fans to customize a Chatmay helicopter, which then itself influenced the design of the same vehicle in a G.I. Joe comic book. Things have truly come full circle. There's only one problem. The Chatmay Skylifter is very rare. Calling it a holy grail is an understatement. It's more like the Ark of the Covenant, standing in its glorious presence melt to your face off. I've been hunting this thing for years. However, I'm getting off track, because this video is not about the Chatmay Skylifter. This is about making something that people have always wanted. So if I were to make a custom Cobra transport helicopter, it would have to be made from an existing vehicle. That's sort of the thing about customizing. Unless you're scratch building or 3D printing, you have to pick the most suitable vehicle for the job, in order to hit the ground running, so to speak. So let's take a look at a few candidates. Too small. Too big. No. Now this is suitable. This is that knockoff U-53 from a few years back. It's just the right size. In fact, it kind of looks like the Skylifter to an extent. Yes, this will be the Cobra transport helicopter. It looks like you can cut around the electronics if you want to keep them, but I personally am not going to. I'll have to design landing gear that gives that skeletal feel to the helicopter. And, of course, she'll need to be painted blue. At one point she was purple, but no, the universal color of Cobra will always be blue. As I'm writing this, I'm debating on whether to keep the winch. It would be kind of redundant on a sky crane type helicopter. Oh, and look at that. The wheels can be unscrewed. We can use those for later. Now, being a transport helicopter, it's going to need a way for it to carry things. As a requirement, it will need to carry this HISS tank. So not only will I have to modify a helicopter, I'll have to make a suitable platform that's big enough and strong enough to carry a HISS. This particular helicopter actually comes with these towing cables for carrying vehicles, but clearly they're not suitable for carrying a HISS tank. I think I'll have to make my own vehicle support. So, did I make it? If you're asking yourself this question, you obviously haven't been paying attention to the last 5 years. Of course I did! The construction was actually very simple. I cut out a large chunk from the helicopter and left a space for cargo. The legs are constructed out of evergreen plastic sheets and are reinforced with metal. I also recycled the wheels. The helicopter has telescopic legs. I don't know why. It's just one of those things that happened and I rolled with it. I'm sure if someone were to make their own version of this, they could simplify the construction. So, the ultimate question, can it carry a HISS tank? Kind of? Okay, so the towing system is going to need a redesign. Though, to be fair, this is actually my second attempt to create tow cables for this helicopter. This particular design relies on a hook that connects to the geometry of the helicopter. The first iteration of the towing system I created in late 2020 was designed to retract into the helicopter, and as you can see, it actually worked pretty well. Obviously, this is going to need some work. Of course, a helicopter is useless without a pilot. I want to give this machine something original. For the pilot, I think I'm going to turn to Marauder gunrunners. Again, I'm not used to 3D printing yet, so this is probably going to be as close as I'm going to get to creating my own figure. So after a while of sorting through different parts and matching colors, this is the result. Behold, a Cobra helicopter pilot. I think this guy is the only one suitable for piloting this beast. This was a lot of fun to make. Hopefully I've broadened the horizons of customizers and people who have always wanted to see a Cobra transport helicopter in toy form. And hopefully this inspired you to make your own. I wanted to give a huge shout out to Hooded Cobra Commander 788 for not only inviting me to participate in Cobra Convergence VI, but also organizing this huge event where G.I. Joe fans can come together. And for a lot of my subscribers, you've probably noticed that I haven't posted for the better part of a year. And it's because of everything that's been going on with the pandemic that's just wreaked havoc on my schedule. The last year and a half for me has been very, very rough. And I really can't express how thankful I am for all of my subscribers, who stick with me through these hard times. You guys really are the ones who keep this channel together. And that's basically it. Now, I'm not entirely certain if we're shouting out the next person on the schedule, because, unfortunately, because of all the craziness, I haven't been able to keep up with all the Cobra Convergence updates. But I'm gonna do it anyway, just for the heck of it. So, the next Cobra Convergence video will be tomorrow, July 16th, and it will be by my side of the laundry room. So look forward to that.